what happens is it will trigger different events, such as the earthquake in Chile last year that moved the axis of the Earth, and so same as the one in Japan that continues to shift the axis of the Earth. And you think 10 centimeters is not a lot. It is absolutely huge, because that changes the amount of sunlight, therefore the experience of daylight and the night experience, the solar cycle, the moon cycle. So everything is changing. The actual island of Japan has physically moved. Other islands are sinking. Of course, we're only talking about inches here and there, but that's how the Earth landmass changes. It's inches here and there, and this is exactly what is happening before our eyes. And so, of course, as we look at it as an individual isolated event, it feels really horrific. It feels very, very sad and very, very difficult. And, we're all torn, and we're all kind of struggling with, dealing with looking at people going through such horrific experiences. But if you look at it from the perspective that I've just explained to you, if you basically kind of zoom out a little bit and put the Earth into a much bigger perspective and understand that every thousands of years, the Earth has to reconfigure itself. It has to continue evolving to the next configuration. Just like your physical body, your cells are continuously recreating themselves. Your liver cells, your skin cells, all your the cells of all of your organs are continuously regenerating themselves, so that you continue to evolve to the next configuration. In the same way, and that's how you become alive. You remain alive. In fact, in fact, this is the way that all of energy works. Energy doesn't just die. This is a wrong belief system that energy or the body or the physical cells die. They don't die. They recycle themselves into another form. And so even we see animals changing their skins or what have you. This is the natural way, the natural order of things. And so if we were to look at what the Earth is going through before our eyes, we realize that it is pretty amazing stuff. That in order for the Earth to now move to the next level of awareness and be connected to the new higher frequencies of the new grid that brings in the cosmic light from source, from the center of the universe, and from the galaxy in a purer way, in a more profound way, in a more coherent way, then it has to reshape itself. Again, because the Earth grid has is correlated with specific points on the Earth. I mentioned before that your human brain is perfectly correlated, meaning it's exactly coherent with the entire Earth grid. That's how you have a human experience. So, in the same way, the Earth itself also has kind of points, if you want to look at it this way, on the surface of the Earth. It's more than this, but let's just have a simple exercise. On the surface of the Earth, every point corresponds to a point at the grid. Does that make sense? So that it's all connected together. So if you shift the point at the grid, its corresponding point on the Earth is going to shift, is going to move. So if I am at the grid and I'm shifting a big piece piece of the grid one way or another, let's say 10 centimeters for the sake of argument here, well then the land mass that corresponds to that part at the Earth grid has to shift 10 centimeters. How do you shift 10 centimeters? By moving the tectonic plates that are supporting that land mass. You see, so it's all working together. The chemistry of the plane, the internal organs, so to speak, of the planet are being reconfigured, transmuted into a new form, and the electrical system and the landmass, everything is shifting together. So if you look at it this way, if you look at it this way, then you will hopefully kind of be able to cope with the situations, the global events that are happening at this time in a better way. I'm hoping to bring to you a perspective that will allow you to remain kind of connected, to remain clear, to remain lucid, and to remain to allow your guidance to remain clear. Because I receive a lot of emails from you guys, telling me, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to leave here? Does this mean this? Or should I be moving and stuff like that? And because of all of this is happening, this makes our 3D experience very turbulent. I mean, even though we understand all of this stuff from a bigger perspective, from a higher perspective, but what is happening is that we still have nonetheless a 3D sensory perception experience, and that feels still very turbulent. So I shared with you in the first webcast of this year some ways to remain very connected, very lucid, so we're not kind of dragged into this energy that feels destructive, or is really not, again, when you're looking at it from the bigger perspective. But at the same time, it feels like it could drag you one way or another. So in order for you to stay very solid in your own space and to continue to receive guidance that is clear, well, then you have to shift your perception to this higher, more global perspective, and understand what the Earth is going through. And of course, we look at what's happening in Japan, and with great compassion and with absolute tremendous love. We are here to support the humans in Japan who are going through these experiences. But again, your role, as you well know, you could be sitting in Australia or Estonia or Africa for that matter, and even though you are not personally going through the physical problems that they are, but you are certainly affected. Because, are you not? Because your consciousness is part of the collective consciousness, and so you have to be affected one way or another. But this is exactly where you come in, you see, because we are all connected. Everyone, every human on the earth has this connection to the earth grid. So that's why we are part of a collective human consciousness. And so what happens is that if a part of humanity is going through suffering or struggle right now, and the rest of the earth is also pouring in more sad thoughts, sad frequency, terrified frequency, and in fear. If we are doing this, even though we are sitting in Africa or Estonia or Italy or France, it doesn't really matter. We are adding to the collective experience, and so it does not help those people who are in Japan. And that is exactly where this work comes in. This is exactly the time, in the moment of turbulences, 3D, uncomfortable, confusing events, that more than ever, wherever you may be, your energetic frequency and the way you are connected to the collective consciousness, that is how you're going to help. We are going to help the people of Japan by remaining very solid, by being very, connected, by creating this a very comfortable place, sacred space, so we are not also dragged into these 3D experiences. And so that is the reason why if you understand the bigger picture, then this allows you to remain more solid. So, and also have more guidance for yourself. So, but in addition to this, it is not only the people of Japan. You also have to understand that the earth is a consciousness, is a being. The earth has also suffered a lot. Don't you think so? For years and years and years, we are pouring into the earth toxic material. We are pouring into the earth information, garbage, material that is not coherent with the normal life flow. And so this earth, after all of these years, is barely surviving. So in addition to, we have the tendency to immediately look at the pictures on television and have compassion for the people, of course. But should we not also have compassion for the earth? Imagine, and then it's not just the pouring the toxic material in the earth that is hurting the earth. For years and years and years, we are living in a reality on the earth that is it is based on separation, that is based on greed, that is based on fear. And do you not think that this will also affect the consciousness of the earth? Imagine yourself sitting in your house, right? You're by yourself, and it's your space, and you have your energy field and your house, your physical space, and suddenly you have 50 or 100 people that show up in your house and start playing really, really loud music, offensive music, creating chaos in your space. So they're not pouring toxic material in your body, but they are creating a frequency inside your energy field. So tell me, how long can you take this energy? How long will you be able to sustain your balance, sustain your own health, sustain your sanity? And so that is precisely what I'm saying. The earth has also suffered a lot. And we have continuously, allowed this misaligned information, this vibration, this low vibration, this offensive vibration of fear and greed and lying and all of that to exist on the earth. And the earth has an energy field just like you do, and that has been affecting its ability to remain connected, its ability to sustain a healthy level of life. And so I'd like you to think about that as well. So as we are pouring in compassion and love to other humans suffering in a 3D way, we also must remember that the earth is allowed to finally have the ability to reconstruct itself. And that is exactly what it's doing. In the same way, the events that are happening on a political level, I think we've all been aware of that as well. in the Mideast are also creating a chain reaction. And so, but before I switch real quick, those geophysical events are like I said, since they started last November, will continue happening. It's a chain reaction, a little bit here, a little bit there. But regardless whether it's affecting your area or not, you are still being affected one way or another. So that's the point of this conversation and this dialogue here.